Greetings, everyone. I was asked to share what my favorite verse of scripture was, or one of my favorite verses of scripture was one of my brothers, Brother Ray. God bless you, man. So here I am answering the call. I will do that. And so I want to direct our attention to one of my favorite verses of scripture, which is Psalms 91. I'm just going to read a few verses because it is a bit of a lengthy chapter. So I'm supposed to keep the video short. So I'm going to try to do that. I'm going to read a few verses of scripture. Bear with me. And it reads, "He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God. In Him will I trust." Verse 3, "Surely He shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence." Last verse I'll read, verse 4. "He shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and thy buckler." I'll tell you why this passage of scriptures is so dear to me. It's dear to me because the whole passage of scripture is dedicated to creating confidence in the heart of the believer in God's sovereign ability to protect, not only his ability, but his willingness to protect his people, and creates faith in the heart of the person who reads this text, that if as a result of trusting in the Lord, that his protection is going to be a result of that a relationship with him is not without benefits. One of the benefits of a relationship with the Lord is his protection. And I'll just point out again in verse 1, "He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty." I want to draw a bit of contrast. And that contrast is going to really involve me mentioning another passage of scripture. That's the 23rd Psalm. And in the 23rd Psalm, there's a portion of it that says, "Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will not fear the evil." I'm not going to fear the evil that's in this valley. I'm not going to fear the evil that might approach me when I leave this valley. But the reason why the writer says he's not going to fear the evil that was referenced in the 23rd division of Psalms, or in the 23rd Psalm, the reason why he's not going to fear the evil is because of the provision that exists under the shadow of the Almighty. And I'm thinking we are dealing as a not only as a nation, as a world, we are dealing with a shadow that is a wind of death that is blown across the land. There's some people who are in denial. Some people are saying it's being blown out of proportion. No, it's real. There is indeed a wind of death that's blowing, a shadow, if you would. And so what comes to me as I share this with you and as I bring this to a close, I'm persuaded, even as I share this scripture with you, these few verses, I'm persuaded that the only thing that's going to deliver us as individuals, as cities, as a nation, as a world, from this shadow of death that's blowing, the only place of protection is under the shadow of the Almighty. Isn't that ironic? The only way to be set free, the only way to have relief and to have this wind of death return, to dissipate, to vaporize, our only place of protection for real is the shadow of the Almighty. So for those who are watching this, there has never been a more important and pressing time that shadow of the Almighty really represents the sort of protection that we can experience when we seek relationship with him. So for me to know my Father, I have a natural father. For me to know him and for me to know him as my Father, or recognize him as my Father, and as a father, for him to recognize me as his son, there are certain protections that come with the territory of me being his son. And so now in this hour more than any other, there is no greater and more important time for us to seek relationship, to run for the cover of the Almighty. That is the result of seeking a relationship with our God through his son, Jesus Christ. The shadow of the Almighty. Let's run for it.